Hi, my name is Brad Krantz, and this is my story. In 1991, my wife Linda and our 3 boys were living in Richfield, and the company I was working for at that time decided to move from Richfield out to Chaska, Minnesota. Well, after a year commuting back and forth from Richfield to Chaska, then I started to pray about whether the Lord wanted us to move closer to where I was working in Chaska. And after a lot of praying and searching and that, it became apparent the Lord was opening doors in Chaska and closing doors where we were living in Richfield. And one of my favorite Bible verses is Ephesians 2:10. For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Now, Linda and I both knew that God had a reason to bring us out to Victoria, but we really didn't know what it was at that time. We did a lot of praying as we were searching for a new church home here in Victoria, and our will for His will for us in our new home. After a few months of church shopping, we heard about Mission Victoria, which had started worshiping in the old Victoria City Hall. I remember our first visit to Mission Victoria is sitting underneath the basketball hoop and folding chairs, and we had a little folding card table for an altar in front of a portable backdrop, and listening to Pastor Larry Bell preach. And it struck me that this is a place, and the Lord laid it on my heart, that this is a place where I could really get involved. It was a small church, and in a small church, you do a lot of different things. And it struck me that this church truly was a place where the church was the people, because there was no building. And it was a place where I could really make a difference. Well, Mission Victoria became our home, but we couldn't actually become members because it actually wasn't a church yet. It was still a mission. And it'd be another 2.5 years before Mission Victoria would be chartered as Christ Victorious Lutheran Church, Missouri Synod. And I'm proud to say that our family of 5 made up 6% of that original congregation. It became apparent that God had brought us out to Victoria to be part of Christ Victorious. And you served in a lot of different ways. I mean, besides teaching Sunday school and being on building committees, I actually served 17 years, the first 20 years of the governing board. So I saw a lot of what was going on behind the scenes in a church startup. And there's a lot of excitement. I like to say that everything was awesome in those days, but there was probably the most frustrating time, but it was also some of the most rewarding times I ever had. Like the excitement of doing 3 building projects in 10 years and seeing that kind of growth and being a part of that. But there are really disappointing times, like when Linda and I showed up for a Monday night service, and we were the only ones there other than a guest pastor who was preaching that night. And he did the whole sermon for us, talk about being preached at. So through it all, though, God's been very faithful. But one thing about it I've learned is His plans are not always our plans, but we really need to seek His will for our life. One thing I know, though, is that Christ Victorious would not be here today without the prayers and financial support of area non-member area Christians and the other churches here in Carver County. These people were people who never became members of our church, but they planted trees that other people sat under. I've got a couple of insights from my experiences that in Ephesians 2:10 tells us that God has a unique plan for our lives, and His plans are always the best, but we need to seek His will through prayer. And also that a lot of people who make Christ Victorious possible today never became members here, and now it's an opportunity for me and Christ Victorious to play it forward and to be a part of our new church plant. And now we can be the ones who plant trees that other people will sit under. This is how the Lord's been working in my life. This is my story, and I look forward to hearing yours.